It's a live stream. The power's back. We had a lot of time to think about what Hank said and did.
No, we didn't. We were running around the studio trying to turn the servers off before the battery runs out.
Yeah, it was good to know that we had a battery on the server. That was cool.
Yeah, it lasted the whole time the power was gone. Okay, anyway, we're picking back up. Let's just jump in.
Yeah,
Hank,
absolutely.
You cursed the last one.
Don't do it again. All right, so to remind everybody, there's a coupon code, 13% off, Spooky13. Use it if you want to buy this stuff. Gesture drawing is different than rhythm drawing. Put your questions in the chat. Let's have some fun. Stan, what made you choose this one, this particular drawing?
I don't know. It's got limbs going everywhere. It's fun.
So Lucy Joy is asking, what's considered to be a good reference, and how do you choose one?
Honestly, to me, a good reference is something I'm excited to draw. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I can give you like a list of things to look for, because you'll like something different than me. Because it's all about the story behind this and the what this is telling you and why it gets you excited. Or it might be something that you've never drawn before, or you're learning something specific about some body part and you're like, oh man, that body part looks cool in that one, and it speaks to you. So there's no list of things other than like, the lighting is good, there's enough contrast, the shadows reveal the forms well, stuff like that. If you're shading, if not, then who cares? Mm-hmm. But if I'm doing gesture, then I want to make sure that the pose is dynamic.
And so for this one,
eventually you'll learn
the overlap of energy here.
Yeah, the gesture here is like super active. It's a very dynamic pose, so it's exciting. I'm excited to capture this curve of the back.
So this has some of the stuff that you guys were asking for earlier, where you guys were asking to see some stuff that's overlapping with a limb that's hidden, and trying to see how you really break something down like that, so you still represent all of those forms. Okay. So to the people who are returning, we've got a bunch of people that I might not recognize because you didn't ask questions. But Hank, yes, your question broke the stream. Just don't ask another one.
Just stop talking, Hank.
No, please ask questions. Aries is back. There's a bunch of different people who made it through here. Please ask questions. Put a Q in the beginning of it. Tag @Proko so we definitely see it. If you don't see me mention your question right away, it's not because we didn't see it. It's just maybe it doesn't fit in that moment. It's all put to the side. We can get to it. Let's see. A person's asking, how do you learn to finish long gesture drawings? When I attempt 10 to 15 minute drawings, I always find myself with a few minutes left over and I can't think of what else to add.
Well, that might just mean you ran out of knowledge. that's not a diss.
This is not an insult. This is just you're out of spot.
You ran out of brain. No, it just means you might just not know enough about another step in the process. But what if you gave yourself 2 hours to do a drawing? What would you do then? Would you really still run out after 10 minutes? I mean, I don't know. I could draw for hours on the same thing and just look at little details of the anatomy and how they reveal interesting shapes and how they go together. There's just so much you can observe and try to capture.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Stan, quick question.
And a lot of that requires anatomy knowledge or shading knowledge or structure and perspective knowledge or gesture. So if all you know is gesture, then you can kind of run out after 10 minutes. But that means go learn the next step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stan, quick question. Is your phone still on your hotspot, or your laptop on your hotspot still?
Yes.
Can you switch it over to the good internet?
Yes.
Thank you. So let's see here if there's any questions in the chat that I can answer. Memento Finis, did the whole studio go pitch black? Pretty much. Yeah, since we record here we have a lot of the windows blocked off, and we want to control all the lighting. So in where Stan was, it was just pitch black at first. It was
Am I
just
back?
full dark.
I
Yep, you're
disconnected
here.
for a second. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah, the whole building was down. We weren't even getting internet into our router because our router was still plugged into a battery, but we weren't getting internet, so we couldn't do anything.
Mhm. Yeah, even ending
Anyway.
the stream, that had to be someone else in like somewhere else, remote employee. Stan, who do you think the best artist of the last 10 years is? It's a nice,
Man,
easy softball question.
That's not an easy one.
Who's a new artist that you've discovered that you've really enjoyed in the last few years?
A new artist.
But let's change this.
That's a bad one too. I don't remember any names.
Well, dang.
Shoot, I'm just showing my phone here. Huh?
Gonna dox yourself.
I'm about to check Instagram and be like, ooh, who do I follow recently?
For
okay,
for artists.
I'll answer a few. Like, I studied a lot of Morgan Weisling. I love his stuff for his paintings or for his technique. As far as drawing, I like Eliza a lot. Kim Jong-gi was a freaking monster. Steve Houston is really good.
I think these are definitely good ones. I think is Sanford Green a newer, like, is that inside of 10 years? You discovering Sanford Green's work?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, Sanford, he was actually one of the artists that we were lucky enough to get for the Marvel course, which has a free lesson up on YouTube right now.
Are you just saying that so he could promote the Marvel course?
I did. It's a segue, Stan. But yeah, no. So right now there's a brand new free video on from the Marvel course that's on our YouTube channel right now. This one is covering inking with a fantastic instructor, someone who's a talented professional themselves, and actually does a really good job of communicating that, because you can be a skilled artist and a bad teacher, but he does a great job. So yeah. But yeah, Sanford Green.
I think I'm done with this one.
Okay.
This is purely gesture for me. I didn't really do much three-dimensional stuff. Like a few things, like a little cylinder here, a little bit of structure in the elbow there. But this is almost purely just the gesture capturing the pose. So now let's move on to the one I was working on before when the power went out. This was a good warm-up back into it. Oh God, that was a horrible rip.
No one could see it from
it's off. It's off.
Yeah, it's off screen. Nobody knows.
Nothing happened. So okay. Let's do this again. I'm gonna start with the torso this time. Last time I started with the body, and then it just doesn't connect well because I have to like ignore the ropes. So I'm gonna start with that nice shape that I'm. The reason that I was drawn to this in the first place was the torso and the way it transitions to the legs. So I'm gonna start with that shape because I like how right at the lat there's a real sudden turn right there. So if I just capture that, then everything else just kind of fits, right? Maybe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with this. And then you might actually.
What?
No, go for it. Hit it.
I want to capture a slightly upward angle on the hips that we're like looking up at it. So I want to make sure this box is kind of like that. So get these two angles showing this box, right? Okay, go ahead. Your turn.
Well, since you're actually kind of constructing something right now, I was going to bring up this question from Josh: is how do you keep gesture while still adding structure, and vice versa?
Ooh, that's a great question, and that's exactly what I'm going to talk about in my basics course.
Oh,
wow, we're like
synergy.
No. I will be moving into structure next in the gesture course. That's like the next big section.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a really good reason why I ended the shape section with rhythms. And it's because in order to do structure correctly, you have to connect it to the gesture. It can't just be a bunch of robotic cylinders and boxes, because then it just look like it won't look alive. You'll lose all the organic qualities of the body that make it look like it's moving. And let me just show you here. So the combination of curves connecting to other curves, plus a few key corners and angles that show boxes or cylinders. Like right in here, the only thing I'm showing is this top part of the box. But that's enough to show that we're looking up at it. I could also have just done a curve if I just say, oh, this is like a cylinder. That also shows that I'm looking up at it. Then for the leg, I could just do like a, mannequin. But that makes it stiff. So instead, I'm starting with this curve. Right? I'm starting with what the flow is, what the gesture is doing. But I'm going to make sure that I consider the three-dimensional structure as well. Like the way it connects in here, it's still the box. And I could be thinking about the curve in here. The underwear is a great place to show that. Shading, once you start shading, a lot of that kind of comes through in these really subtle, like this leg isn't coming at us, right? There's not that much of this tilt towards us. It's really subtle that we're looking up at it. And so there's no obvious curves I could show in here that is like, yeah, we're looking up at it a little bit. Everything is kind of vertical. But in the shading, you can start showing a little bit of that roundness. But until you do start shading, you can just do a few cross contour lines just as like little indicators for yourself for later. But essentially the point, the major, the quick answer to your question is that you don't draw these. You learn. Okay, thank you. Yeah. You learn the perspective and how to show these, but you always deform them to be more organic, but you still keep all of the elements from these that reveal this form. Like this ellipse or oval. Some of you guys
YouTube comments.
Yeah, YouTube comments. Trying to be all smart.
Yeah, these are like you drawing the basic forms, like your 3D shapes. It's something to inform the thing that you build on top of. It's not your final drawing, It's like your sketch, but it's a detail sketch. It gives you light, shadow, so many more things.
Is anybody trying to correct me yet?
No one said
oval is an ellipse.
They're on a little bit of a delay,
right.
So there might be a Saskia who comes in here.
Yeah,
you're gonna make them all say it.
Yeah, so every ellipse is an oval.
Yes.
Wait,
but not every oval.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I had to look this up this morning because we got a couple more comments like this.
Yeah. So when I draw something that's symmetrical, I can call that an ellipse or an oval. They're both correct.
Absolutely. Razek, I saw your question. It's fine. We'll bring it up as it comes up. So a person here, Wylan, is asking, how do you make your lines that soft with charcoal? Can you talk about how you make lines hard and soft with charcoal?
Like, is this a soft? What do you mean by soft? Is it like light?
I imagine they mean not like a rigid line, like something that's lighter and something that's more fuzzy like that.
Well, first of all, you have to make sure it's sharpened really smooth here. If you have any kind of corners or ridges on your pencil, it's going to catch on that little corner and you're just going to get that one tight line. But if you have a soft taper, like a little bullet, when you put it on the side,
soft.
It's real soft.
Yeah, and then if you pull just that tip straight down, yeah, absolutely.
Like, look at if I do it on just like this is like more like inking paper. I can still get that soft edge, but you're getting more texture. So maybe that's what they're talking about. Is like, how are you not getting like texture?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's still texture. It's not like perfectly like Photoshop gradation type of. It's not airbrushed, but I could still get light lines. I can get soft lines like thick. I can go thin to thick. Right? There's a difference. This I'm going with the length. This I'm going with the side, and see how thick it is. So anyway, the materials do matter for that, but also just the way you sharpen your pencil matters a lot. I think that's the big one that hurt me a lot. Is like I would just be lazy with how I sharpened it, and
you didn't have access to as much of an edge.
Yeah, I just couldn't control it. It would control me. Oh, that was wrong.
So here, let's finally go for Razak's question. Do you think anime is real art, Stan?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
What stupid question is that?
Razak, he asked it like a few times in the chat. Absolutely. Yeah. Just because something is a different style or a simplified style that's pretty commercial doesn't change anything. A person
is that real? That's not a real question.
They asked it several times, so they made it seem like they really wanted to know.
Oh, well then I'm sorry for calling it stupid.
But yeah, no, like simple cartoons, it's like a Sunday cartoon or something. There's just as much art in Calvin and Hobbes as anything, you know?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Art isn't even just, it doesn't even have to be visual.
This is very true. Absolutely.
Like art is much more broad than like fine art.
Yeah. There were some responses to the ellipse thing.
Yeah.
So
did they prove me wrong yet?
No, nobody came in with disagreeing or anything. They were just like, okay. Ellipse is perspective oval. That's my favorite one from Tom Doing
No,
Art.
It's not perspective. It's more of a mathematical thing. Like, you know, where it's about symmetry versus not symmetry, but one is either one. Just look it up, guys. It's on Google. It's so easy to get answers. You'll see a visual representation of it as well. Okay. Lots of activity in this foot. Lots of tension. And of course, sound effects help. I don't know if you heard that.
Wait, the scratch of the pencil?
No.
Oh, you're doing the sounds from the shorts live?
Yes. Yeah, I have the whole library memorized. Okay. So this is like much more advanced rhythms. This is anatomical rhythms, but they're still rhythms. Like I'm still looking for the connection here to here. Some of these are much smaller, and then maybe they're more structural. So it's a combination where I'm not purely just looking at rhythms anymore. I'm trying to just indicate more about this pose, about the three-dimensionality, about the anatomy, about what's happening, because it does reveal more of the gesture with the more body language I can show through detail, the better the gesture will read. Gesture isn't about S-curves, right? A lot of people think, oh, gesture noodle. No, gesture is about the story. Like you can have a very detailed drawing that is showing the gesture because body language is really subtle. And sometimes just like showing a little bit, like the fingers being compressed really tight might reveal something about what the person is communicating that just showing like a curve of the thumb will not. So I know somebody asked about gesture and rhythms earlier, right?
Yeah.
Was that? Yeah. So like gesture is really broad like that, where it's about the story and about what is happening, and rhythms are about like connecting this from the pec over here all the way through the hip, all the way over into the knee. That's the rhythm. Like that line is a rhythm line. Okay, so in here, this pec is compressed, right? Because the arm is down. This pec is stretched out. Look at that. It goes all the way through to the elbow, like this big rhythm. I'm kind of lifting that arm up straight, and I don't care. I kind of like that. I know it's going to the left, but I really like
Can you pull that?
Showing that.
Should
I pull my desk back?
Yeah, just a little bit. There we go.
Ugh.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. So you guys see how right through there's a nice rhythm all the way through up here? That's what I'm looking for.
And so you're looking to follow this through to inform where you're actually laying down your quick sketch?
Well, yes, and also to capture the energy of where the flow is going. Whoa, was there lag there?
Yeah, every once in a while, there's like a little bit of jitter sometimes since we came back.
Yeah.
It's not terrible, but it's there.
Our internet isn't up to full speed yet.
No.
So how should I say? You're looking for connections between certain, like some parts of the anatomy that show the expression of the pose the best.
I think this makes sense. Yeah, that's succinct. So for this one, even though you said not an S curve, there is an S going through this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whole posture.
I'm just saying,
it's just not always.
Don't limit gesture to an S curve.
Yeah,
like, that's not the entirety of what gesture is. Certainly, you will use S curves.
Yeah,
within gesture drawing.
Just don't think it's everything.
Yeah, that's not what the entirety of the concept.
People asked a little bit earlier, kind of about your history, and there's some stuff that kind of approaches that a little bit more in the questions here. A person is, how did you learn to draw figures in accurate perspective from reference? Was that something that you learned while in Watts, or was that something you practiced before?
From reference specifically?
Yeah, they said reference.
Well, drawing from life helps to be able to then draw from reference, but doing both, I think. You draw from life because then you're able to understand life a little bit, like what things look in reality a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go and you draw from photo and you'll see that there's a little bit of a difference there, but you try to kind of bridge the gap. You start to understand what that thing would have looked like in real life. And so your mind just kind of interprets it not as just like this flat thing, but you try to then imagine it as a real person. And in order to be able to imagine that as a real person in front of you, it does help to study from life.
Yeah. The one I think of with this is, imagine if you had never eaten pizza before and someone gave you a recipe for making pizza. You'd be like, I guess I'm kind of like, I can make it from this. But if you've tasted pizza and you know what you're doing with this, you're going to make a better pizza, even having a recipe. Having practical experience with the thing in person is better.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's pretend that came together way better than it did.
No, it was good. I've never heard that one.
Okay. The person who was asking about something earlier about the gestures, they said, thanks, Proko. I get it now.
Oh, cool.
Thanks, Art Advance. Dr. Jam or DRJAM, I don't know. We're doing quick sketches. So we're kind of doing some spooky stuff, something that could be used to be a zombie. Some of the photo references are actual zombies. But just Quicksketch, talking how you break something down into rhythms, since that's the section that we're in
Zombie.
basics right now.
This is spooky because he's being strangled, and yeah,
Death is scary.
yes, death is scary, and torture is scary.
Absolutely. War crimes, Geneva Convention. There was a question from the previous stream before everything blew up, where someone was asking a question that comes up a lot now, where people are asking if it's okay to study from masters, or if that's just copying and should be.
No, God, stop it! Can everybody just stop thinking of studying artists as copying or cheating? Like, okay, here's the big difference. Let me just lay it out. If you're copying someone else's thing and you then pretend you didn't copy that thing and then you present it as your own, yes, that's copying, that's cheating. You're deceiving your fans or whatever, whoever's following your art. But if you do a master study with the intent to study it, to get better, to practice, and then you present it as, here's a master study, the original artist is X, and that's truthful. You're just saying this is a study, this is practice. It's no different than you learning to play guitar and you play other people's songs first.
Mm-hmm.
You don't start by just like coming up with your own stuff. That's impossible.
Yeah, you want to learn the why and how of what they did, and then you don't just go around like, yes, this is mine and came full.
Right.
I fully formed this drawing in my mind. No, it's clear that this is a study. It's fine. And also, chances are you're probably not going to nail it anyway, so no one's going to look at it like, oh, what? That was all you? It's going to be a little bit wonky maybe. And it's not going to be in your style because you're not in that style yet. That's why you're doing the study.
Yeah, study anybody who you like just for some reason. You don't even know why you like them. Just start studying them. And studying doesn't always necessarily mean you have to do the drawing and painting. You can just like stare at it for 10 minutes and try to figure things out. But the best way to study someone, if you really want to like absorb as much as you can from them, is to do it. Mm-hmm. Just try to mimic it. All right, I'm gonna move on. I spent too much time on this one.
Yeah. What's the next one and why?
Oh Jesus! I did.
A person is asking. I have something to ask you. Do you have to finish the drawing or not? Nope.
No.
You never have to finish the drawing.
What does it mean to finish it?
Exactly.
Well, I didn't shade it at all.
Yeah, you neither have to finish the drawing for your own study, for your own practice or anything. The only time you have to quote unquote finish a thing is to get it to the point that it needs to be done if you're doing a professional job to fulfill the requirements of the task.
Right.
But even that, there's that last like 10% of anything that you make that's going to be you just like making tiny little details that no one will notice. Because again, what is quote unquote finished?
Yeah, you can have an idea of what finished will be before you start, and then it's not finished until you get to that goal. Mm-hmm. But yeah, finished is just when you decided that it's okay. I'm done now. I've done that thing that I wanted to do. Or it could be, oh wow, I completely failed on this. Let me start over. I'm done with this one. Let me try again. That's totally fine as well.
So what made you choose this one?
The S-curve gesture. Oh, man. Live streams are a disaster. Proving myself wrong all the time.
That's how that goes. Dude, listen, talk long enough on a podcast or anything, you're going to say some things that conflict with each other too. But this does not conflict. This is good wisdom. It can be an S-curve. Doesn't have to be an S-curve.
Yeah, no, I'm still right. What captured me, honestly, it was not the S-curve. It was the shape in here. and it's not the S-curve shape. It's like there's this really awesome combination of intense curve here with a corner poking out here, and honestly, like this sharp edge in here of the armpit, like probably why I was like putting a dark line there. And it just has this great combination of intense big curves with little curves and this corner. I don't know, something about this shape, I really like it, and I'm trying to capture it right now with this, what I'm doing in here. So corner, right, and then pew, 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 pew.
Perbot, we did actually answer that question in the previous half of this stream before it broke. There's a benefit to drawing bigger and smaller when practicing. There's not one preference between the two. Just don't do only one of them. You get bad habits that way. Do both.
Yeah, practice doing all sizes so that you're not just limited to being comfortable with one size all the time. Because you will just get used to that size, and then you're like, I don't want to draw big anymore ever.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like when you first sit down and you go to draw and you just start with a circle every time.
Right, and the circle is always the same size because you've just practiced that size circle so often that you're like, yeah, that's the size circles are, aren't they?
Yeah, start with something else. It's good. There's another person here. It's Louise Gray. They're asking a few different times about this one. It's off topic, but will you be making lessons on hyper-realistic works and how to identify and work with those facial curves?
Wait, how are facial curves related?
I think that when they say the hyper-realistic works, I think that they're imagining portraits is what they're asking here.
Yeah. I mean, probably not hyper-realistic, because whenever I teach stuff, I always talk about designing it and, interpreting things and not purely just trying to get exactly what it looks like. So no, I probably personally will not do hyper-realistic course or anything like that.
Yeah, but if they were looking
not the guy to do it.
If they were looking to learn about drawing portraits, though, is there a certain course that you'd recommend for that, Stan?
Well, the portrait drawing course has a lot of the concepts of the anatomy that you need to know, whether you're doing hyper-realistic or not. But yeah.
It's up to you where you take those concepts. He's going to be far away from the microphone. Guys, this is where I can say all the things, all the show. He's back.
This is as hyper-realistic. Oh, what? Cut out the pee-pee.
It's a bris.
Quick. This is as hyper-realistic as I'll get. But it's not hyper-realistic. I would just say this is like somewhat representational. But the way I interpret hyper-realistic is somebody looks at it and is like, is that a photo or is that a drawing? Like, I can't tell. This is clearly not a photograph, right? So I wouldn't say it's hyper-realistic. But there's stuff I designed and I like the look of pencil strokes. Like I enjoy it looking like a drawing and not like a photograph. And so it's just, I would not want to do that course. But it's all it is it's the same concepts. All it is just like sitting there longer, kind of finessing every little piece of every tone to make it not have pencil strokes, but instead transition of the forms. It's just a rendering difference. But all the other concepts of the visual language are exactly the same. There's no difference there.
Yeah, they said, Luis said, yep, that's a perfect one. So that's the level of photorealism they're looking for. It's
okay.
That's the other big thing, is that so many people have different definitions of something.
Well, that lesson of me doing that whole thing is in my anatomy course.
Well, there you go.
So first we go through every body part. We learn all the bones, the muscles, the tendons, go through everything. And then at the very end of the course, lesson number like 372 or whatever it is, I do that full rendering with all the anatomy shaded and stuff. So it's hard to do that just by learning how to render. You have to know what that stuff is that you're rendering.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just like like, I don't know, a shine might look good here. That'd be cool.
Yeah, you don't notice a lot of things, a lot of the subtlety of the forms of the body, if you don't understand them. If you don't know why they're there, you purely copying will not get you there. Usually, some people are just really good at copying, like just nail everything exactly. But
yeah,
I also don't enjoy those artists' drawings
as much.
They're too close to the photo.
Yeah.
I personally enjoy artists' stuff better when they're designing things and pushing things in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the legs are not that interesting here. I'm not gonna even waste my time.
While you work on this one, do you want to say anything about what you're working on, or do you want another question?
No, go ahead and another question.
So Anaxagoras is asking, I've been using the rhythm concept you've taught us, but it seems harder to execute when it's from imagination, especially if there's a lack of understanding of form. Do you think both are necessary?
Yeah, so it's a start. Like, first of all, can he answer how long he's been doing that? How long have you been doing rhythms from reference?
Oh, and
now he's saying, yeah, it's hard to do it from imagination. Yes, yeah. It's much harder. But how long have you been doing it from reference?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because like if you've only been doing it since I introduced it like a few weeks ago, then yeah, it's going to take you a lot longer to really ingrain it in your mind.
Do you think that rhythms from imagination, is that a thing that you think takes some time?
Yeah. Well, so like you have to learn the patterns. You have to remember kind of every body part from every angle. You can't just make it up. Invention and drawing from imagination is drawing from memory. That's what it is. You're just combining things in new ways. If you're trying to create like a new creature, you just merging things you've seen before. So like I'm drawing some rhythms. I know what I've done before with what like a rib cage rhythm might look like. I know that like the oblique will be here, and I can like draw a rhythm here to help me visualize the 3D, and like the hips coming out. I'm connecting the hips together. This is a rhythm I have memorized. Help me keep them in line. Maybe a center line will help me at this point to figure out where that twist is. So let's do like this. So this is, I don't know why I'm attempting to draw from imagination live.
Yeah, on a stream. I wasn't going to say anything because I don't want to jinx it.
Why? Why didn't you stop me?
I mean, listen, I'll take another meme. This is fine.
I'll take another kangaroo.
Yeah.
So it just somehow ends up being a kangaroo again.
I like this. Yeah. Whenever you guys see someone draw on stream, oftentimes some people will do something fully from imagination, but a lot of times you fall back on the things that you already know. Because
all the time you fall back on what you know.
No, I mean, like, I think you've drawn like
memory.
often. Not just this thing.
Well,
You're like, I've drawn this thing like
twice. This pose often. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I still don't know what pose this is. I'm just like trying to imagine the torso right now, twisting and going away from me. Like that's all.
You got a little belly button right there. The twist.
Yeah, and I probably made the rib cage a little bit too long, so let's shorten it.
Someone here is asking for a giraffe from imagination, if you don't mind.
Hell no. I haven't drawn giraffes enough to be able to pull it out of my memory. That's the thing that's why I'm asking that guy or girl, whoever was asking about how, hey, I can't draw rhythms from imagination. It's like, have you drawn it enough to really be able to draw it from memory? Because when you're drawing from imagination, you're really just drawing from memory.
It looks like they said, well, actually, real quick, I want to get ahead of something else. Typing your message in all caps, a question that you've already asked, doesn't make me ask it more. And I'm not. Now I'm just
we're gonna ignore it.
Yeah. So chill, dude. But the other person who had messaged us before about that, they said they've been doing it for a few months.
A few months, yeah. You're gonna struggle. But the thing is, you're also gonna struggle for a while, even if you do it for years and then you attempt it to do it for the first time from imagination, you're still going to struggle because you're going to try to connect those things together and your brain needs to like make those connections. But you'll figure it out. Like, you got to just do it many times, do it for several days, several weeks, and things will start to come together.
Oh, Tom doing art pointed out that this is now an action scene. The one zombie just pushed the other one over.
Like, hey, get out of here. Like that?
Stop. You're not wrong. There are so many unintentional interactions that you'll get on a like actual full page sheet of quick sketches. There's one, I think, saying where you drew like several forms and then everyone was reaching towards one guy. Do you remember this one?
Oh God, do not know.
Yeah, everyone was just reaching towards the one dude.
One dude, a certain part of the one dude.
Yeah.
No, this is. I did publish a video where I'm flipping through, and that was in there. I don't think anyone caught it.
Yeah, if anyone can find that in the future, you time code it, and
it's in TikTok.
It's a TikTok one.
It's a TikTok.
Oh man,
I'm pretty sure on my personal TikTok. Not.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, yeah. Now you guys just have to go watch all the TikToks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Someone is pointing out the beans here that we've got.
Yeah, there's the beans, and they turned, but you know, it started with a rhythm connecting the beans, right? I didn't start with circles. I started with this, then just the outside of the bean, and then like the pinch for sure. Yeah, all those concepts apply.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could say the bean is kind of like a bunch of rhythms.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, it's there. It's present in more things than just even the torso. Let's do a little bit of a quick thing. So just questions that are real fast answers. Can you just suggest what type of paper people should use for sketching?
Oh, Jesus. They keep ripping. Hold on. Look at it.
Oh, no.
I got it. Yeah. Anyway. You said you got a question?
Yeah. So let's do some fast answers. Can you suggest what type of paper I should use for sketching?
For sketching? Anything, man. Whatever you're comfortable with. What kind of pencil or pen are you using? Are you using markers? Are you using
let's say they got charcoal. What should they use?
For charcoal, newsprint, man. For sketching, it's like it feels the best and it's the cheapest. So just the pad on newsprint is great for charcoal.
Mm-hmm. And then if they're drawing with like a ballpoint pen or a little marker, what kind of thing should they do if they're sketching?
The Proko sketchbook.
Which you guys can buy from us in person if you see us at Lightbox. We'll be at Lightbox at booth 807. You guys can buy this sketchbook from
Proko
us.
Sketchbooks. Oh, I gotta tilt it. There it is. See, Proko.
Yeah, it's a very good sketchbook.
Oh, hey, look.
A giraffe.
There's a giraffe for imagination.
There you go, guys.
It was not for imagination, though.
These were studies on simplification and exaggeration.
Hey, you guys get sketchbook tour as well. Oh, this is all for the basics course. Oh.
There's a Spider-Man.
Yeah, there's a little Spider-Man. Man, a little gesture dissection of a fish. Trying to figure out how to make a fish shape interesting. Also from basics course. That's it. But anyway, yeah, this paper. So basically, this paper is really white. It's real soft. It takes ink or paint real nice. It doesn't warp. So it has to be thick enough. So it depends on the materials. But like, if you're doing ballpoint pen, like honestly, just like printer paper is good enough too. You don't have to spend much money on it. If you're just doing sketches for practice, like white, soft paper without too much texture, and you're good.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone else was also asking if you still have a hard time drawing hands. Do you ever?
Hands are tough, but they're a lot easier now that I understand the simple structures and how to break it down and think of it in a simpler way. What do people want me to do a hand?
Vote. No one was asking for it. There's just a question of if you still have a hard time with this at your level.
Yeah, things are still hard. Yeah, some things make me fail more often than other things. Yes. Well, I'll have to like struggle to solve something. And hands are one of those things. Hands are tough. There's a few reasons why. It's like, one, there's a lot of repeating shapes there that just look like bananas or sausages on a hanging off of a cube. But the anatomy in there is so intricate, like it's just difficult to capture accurately. And also it's extremely expressive. Like, we use hands to communicate what we're saying. And so minor shifts in the fingers will say something different. People can read our hand positions really well. And so if you just get the wrong hand position or something's a little wonky, it just looks wrong, much more wrong than if you put the ankle in the wrong spot. Like, you're not communicating with your ankles. So
there's that idea in art that the two things that people kind of lock onto most when they first look at a drawing or a painting or anything are the face and the hands. And so I think since we do that, it's something that we should try to get right, or at least pay good lip service to, you know?
Yep.
So for the person who was doing that, they were practicing rhythms as a concept for months. Did you have anything that you wanted to say to them on this one?
Just keep doing them as long as you're enjoying it. Like, make sure you do your quick sketches in a way that you're having fun. So pick photos, pick reference to draw from that inspire you, and then you're more likely to keep still be practicing your rhythms 8 years from now, because it really does just take a lot of repetition of this stuff in order to truly get good at it.
Mm-hmm.
You can get like somewhat good at it, like better than most, within like a year if you're like real dedicated. But to really get good at it to where you're just like super comfortable with it, like confident enough to do a live stream in front of 1,000 people or whatever, like that does take a longer time.
Yeah. There's a person here who's asking repeatedly, how to shade a complex shape.
A complex shape?
Yeah.
We'll start by simplifying it, and then you slowly add layers. So you start with the primary forms, then you add secondary, then you add tertiary. I know it sounds like a stupid answer. It's like, okay, duh. But that is really it. I do have, pretty sure I have a lesson on that, right? The primary, secondary, tertiary concept. See if you could find the lesson on Proko.
Is this about
go to Proko, search for like primary, secondary, tertiary in the search bar. What comes up?
Yeah, let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. You vamp for a little bit. Explain what you're doing.
Yeah. So I started with the gesture, the rhythm of the arm going down, just real simple. And now I'm just putting a few key like dark points to indicate like where the armpit is. I'm just trying to construct this shoulder. I am exaggerating things. The thing I found with Quicksketch is that you have to be confident. Like, even if you've never done something before and you're like, I'm probably going to fail, you still have to approach it with complete confidence. Because if you don't, that energy just comes off. Like, you could see it. Your lines will just suck. They'll be boring. But if you approach it with confidence, even if you put stuff in the wrong area, the wrong spot, and your proportions are wrong, at least your lines look good and confident.
Do you remember what course you had been talking about secondary and tertiary forms in? Because it
might have been anatomy. I know I did it in a hand, actually. There was a hand tutorial. Do you remember the one where I show is like the blocks, then I add the knuckles,
mm-hmm.
and like some of the big cylinder, just like secondary forms, and then the tertiary were like veins and little tendons and little creases. Those are like tertiary.
There's one here that was
all that
from an anatomy critique. It says hands part 1, and it shows you showing like a simple box and then a more advanced kind of box. Do you think that's it? You know, I'm just gonna go ahead and drop that whole search from the Proko website. You guys go through and you see which one applies most to you. So hopefully one of those works, because there's one on tertiary and secondary forms in sculpting, one in drawing, some other things. So hopefully that helps.
Okay, so here's how I'm going to approach this arm. I'm seeing a lot of stuff like this, right? And this is what usually happens with people. They'll do like the snowman type of thing, where they see the bumps and they copy the bumps. They copy the contour. But in order to really capture a nice gestural flow and the action of the pose, you have to look past all the bumps and try to figure out what is the expression, what is the flow. And often what like a good thing to look for is like, how can I express the gesture with like 1 or 2 strokes all the way from the shoulder to the fingers? And then how can I add like an element of structure on the other side? And so the only bone I'm seeing throughout the length of the arm is this piece right here of the humerus. And so that's the corner that I'll show. But for the rest of the arm, I just wanted to find that big curve, because I'm seeing overall it curves this way. Even though I see the 3 bumps, the overall flow is this. And then for the other side, let's do a little corner to the wrist, and I probably made that too long. There. Was that Arnold?
Yeah, no, he definitely came out a little bit there.
Yeah.
While you're doing this, Daniel Big Bear Christian says, I gotta say the focus on rhythms lately has made my gesture drawings feel a lot nicer. So thanks a bunch.
You're welcome. So you see how that captures the arm? Oh, you just covered it, bro.
I was trying to give him things, give him codes.
Yeah, but I didn't draw the muscles. I just figured out, okay, what series of little curves and corners can I put in here that will show the expression? It's not about copying the contours. I just can't repeat that enough.
I think it's really easy to get caught up in.
It is. That's why it's like the most common mistake.
Mm-hmm. This might actually roll over into another question someone was asking. Z-Pup was asking, how much should I be exaggerating in gesture drawing?
20 to 30%. If you're feeling frisky, go to 40 to 50.
Are there?
That's like pretty extreme. Like you're gonna break some stuff at that point.
Yeah. Are there certain areas you think that people shouldn't exaggerate as much? Like say
bones.
Yeah, this is what I was looking for.
Yeah, like if you curve a bone too much that's supposed to be straight, it's gonna eventually break. Like you can curve it a little more than you're seeing. In fact, that's good. But eventually it'll break. It'll break faster than, adding more like some more curve to a muscle. Yeah, bones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember there's some things that people will just automatically read as being less than realistic if you're trying to communicate any sort of realism. If you just want to like draw Adventure Time, go for it. Noodle arms everywhere. It's a good thing there.
Yeah, the style also matters. Like if it's totally fine that your stuff looks a little broken,
mm-hmm.
then whatever. Like, what was that animation? What is it called? The is it like literally noodle?
Oh yeah. Rubber hose.
Rubber hose. That's right.
Yeah.
Like that's the style. Like it's totally fine for the limbs to be broken. That actually looks cool.
Mm-hmm. But because you love Cuphead. Real. You love Cuphead.
Love Cuphead.
It does not have to be all straight bones for Stan.
Oh no. Bones for Stan. So this, like the shin bone, is one that I will often exaggerate the curve with. Well, that's too much. See that? I pushed it too much. There you go. Down here, man, I'm just going off. And actually on camera, this looks shorter than what I actually, this looks longer in my point of view than on camera. Huh. All right. Well, I'll just exaggerate it for you guys. All the way down there.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, man, that looks so long to me.
Oh, because you have the desk is on an incline as the drafting desk.
Yeah, this is flat. This, you guys are seeing it, the drawing kind of skewed a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So we're here in the last like 10 minutes of this. There are a lot of questions.
Are we seriously?
In. Yeah, because we're about to hit an hour mark on this, and we did about an hour before. So,
oh man,
yeah,
I'm having so much fun
drawing giraffes from imagination.
Oh, here's another one. So complex on the outside, and then simple on the inside often works really well. Not always. Sometimes, you know, it's like there's just too much you're gonna lose with a simple, like for example, this side I couldn't just do like one super simple curve on this because I would break that knee. I would just not have enough structure in there. But here, this is a really good example of like some complex curves, a little bit of tendon right here, out in the calf, down into the ankle. And then here it's just like whoop. And it's a really good design for a leg. Like that comes through.
Yeah, those kind of things are they're important to keep in mind, like how the perception of the thing will be.
How about one more?
Yeah, no, get it. Yeah, and talk about it as you go through it. Like, unless there's like some amazing question that comes through that we really need to hit, you just focus on this drawing.
This one.
Actually, do you guys want to vote? Is that what you're doing right now, Stan?
Well, first I'm just picking my faves.
Okay.
That I was like really hoping to do.
Don't say which one you guys want yet. Okay, until we say which one's which.
Yeah, until I give you all the options. That might be it.
For Jai, you asked if I want to learn art, should I go to college or can I take Proko? Stan?
I didn't go to college. I just took Proko. No, well, okay. Instead of giving you a really I'll give you a short answer, but first there's a really good long answer in the Draftsman podcast. I believe it's season 2, or is it season 3?
Is it DIY Art School?
Yeah, it's DIY Art School. There's like a series of like 6 or 7 episodes where we literally answer this question over like 7 hours. But it's a really detailed answer. And if you are somebody who is, you know, at that stage in your life where you're trying to figure out what you're going to do for the next decade, you know, spend those 7 hours listening to those episodes because it's really, really useful. It breaks it down. Like, if you're going to go to art school, here's how to do it well. If you're not going to go to art school, here's how you can recreate the things that are good about art school on your own. Because there are things, if you don't go to art school, there are things that you're going to be missing unless you recreate them for yourself intentionally. They're not just going to happen for you. And that includes Proko. Like, Proko is not art school like a university. It's more of a do-it-yourself. You kind of pick your own path, and you have to create your own community. You have to get your own resources. We're here to help you and guide you along the way, and we're definitely here to give you the information part of it. The information part of it is like a really major part of it. And we're here to guide you in the assignments that you need to do. But then you do still have a lot of things you have to create on your own. This is it. This is the 3. So you guys can.
Okay. So let's say what Viking.
Just do 1, 2, 3 from left to right.
Okay. You guys get a vote.
The easiest.
It's on a little bit of a lag, so it'll take them a moment.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, Draftsman. There's a bunch of people saying positive things about Draftsman. It's not over. We just make episodes as we find something worthwhile talk about.
It's not over, but it's kind of over.
It's like over.
It's not what it was. We're not gonna like record 30, 40 episodes for a season again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when Marshall's done with Perspective, but you know it's gonna be like 50 years from now.
Okay. Well, I should have done a poll. Okay, let's see.
You could have done a poll?
Yeah, I didn't think about it. Listen,
Come on.
3 is the winner. 3 is overwhelmingly the winner.
Okay.
looking at this. No, the biggest thing was that no one was saying
these,
one. So
oh, you know what I just realized? These two are like the same pose.
yeah, they are.
That's oh my god, that's weird. They're like,
they just like flipped them. Whoop.
yeah, they're just mirrored.
They're like, stay there. We're gonna change your costume and put the camera on the other side.
Yeah, that's funny.
Wow. Hannibal Lecter saying do 5, 6. Yep. Yeah. So
This is
yeah.
5 and 6.
it's 3 of 3.
It's 5, 6, and 7.
Mm.
Okay. All right.
So
man, this one's tough. I wish I had a high res version of this one because there's some good stuff in here.
that's fair.
Lots of little shapes that you could go in and design.
Just gotta buy a better printer.
I like anatomy.
It's true. You made a whole course on it.
Yeah. Did I?
So for this one, I think you should basically just talk about what you're doing as you do it. Explain the process here.
I'm trying to construct the head as quickly as I can with as few lines as possible. So that was 3 lines, and you can kind of already feel the direction of the head, right? Like you know where it's going. I can also include like that other side, and that makes it a little bit more 3-dimensional. I could then wrap a little line around here and a little thing here, and now you know where the features are. It's probably enough to put a neck. And then with the neck, so I know some people would go and they'll put in a little cylinder. That's great, but that's that going back to that question before is like a cylinder might make this real stiff and make it into a mannequin. The neck has a lot of muscles that stretch and pull and twist that a cylinder just doesn't capture. And so starting with a cylinder in a pose that's this dynamic, it has the risk of stiffening it. So you could think of a cylinder in here. Like I could just think of like, okay, there's like this kind of turning going on here. But in order to really capture the gesture of that neck, I have to think about the rhythms. I cannot think about the cylinder only.
EK01 is asking for main landmarks that you're seeing as you draw this. Since we're focusing on this one drawing now, if you want to point those out, feel free.
So yeah, the jawline, the chin, and specifically the angle of the chin, the brows, the bottom of the nose. This, I mean, pretty much the stuff I just drew. The front angle, the back of the head, I'm seeing a little bit of it, and then for the neck, the landmark was the pit of the neck right here. And then from there, I'm gonna find the pubic bone or the area in here, and then look at where does it align vertically, and it's right below the nose. Oh man, I might have been drawing this too big.
Classic mistake.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll just focus on the hips and torso and all that. I'll have room for this leg at least, I think. We'll see. So now I know this is here, and now I have to draw a center line that connects these, right? So let's do that. Ta-da! There it is. And then I think I might have exaggerated a little bit. Maybe not. I can't tell.
It seems, I guess it turns out it depends on where you take that middle line, you know, like if you stick with that and how much you add on the other side.
I'm going to stick with it because if it's exaggerated a little bit, I prefer that.
Okay.
But I'm going to put in a few lines in here for the ribcage and the torso and then judge it from there. I'm doing it lightly so that I can adjust it if it's off. But ribcage.
right now, are you doing something that's more gestural or rhythm? Like which are you focusing on currently?
Both, but it's gestural rhythms.
As a softball
They're
answer.
Come on. I mean, that question is misguided. Oh, you know what? I think I made this too long. That's why. But this is good. Because that gives me more room for the legs. So I'll just bring that up here.
Aaron Gray is asking how much this process would change if it was for a shorter drawing, 1 or 2 minutes.
Oh, geez. Yeah, a lot. It would change a lot. I would be going way faster with just a bigger lines. I wouldn't have spent as much time kind of putting in some of these more anatomical marks in order to just make sure my proportions are correct. I'd be way less concerned with proportions.
Mm-hmm.
I made this leg way too long. I'm aware of it. I'm trying to decide if I want that or not. Probably not. Let's bring it back in.
How you feeling?
It's okay. I'm not feeling best right now.
Do you want to actually try to tackle one in a quick manner?
In a quick manner?
Yeah. Do you want to just like do one?
I'm going to do this one again really quickly.
Yeah.
And then come back to it. Hell yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, with no explanation. Just do it as you'd want to draw.
Okay. Real quick. Yeah, so if I was okay, the first point here is that like real quick, I'm actually starting with a bigger shape, not the head.
I'm going to go ahead and answer a couple questions here in the chat.
Okay.
You do not have to participate in this.
Cool.
Hank, you're asking, have you ever thought about releasing timetables to follow for your older courses? A lot of that is kind of up to you and what your schedule is. There's not really a recommended time frame for how long you should take to do portraiture or anything. Just don't try to cram in too much all in one go, and don't necessarily take so long that you forget what you learned. If you come back to something like 4 months later, the topics won't be as fresh for you. And then someone was asking about how long it'll take for us to release all of the Drawing Basics course. We don't really like there's a plan on our end for that one since we have things mapped out, but it's not something that we really put out there for people because sometimes we get some like brand new
Hopefully
lessons.
towards the end of next year though.
Okay, there you go.
I think I did put that out there.
Yeah.
A little bit.
We can't say like, like November 23rd.
Yeah, it's not because I'm actually adding lessons in there all the time. Things are getting longer and longer. So, oh shoot, that's not the right spot.
And for Pinda, you had asked any news about Draftsman podcasts. Like we said earlier, it's not necessarily something that we go ahead and like record whole like seasons of anymore. But if something interesting comes up, we'll talk about it. Uguay, you had asked if there are any Proko challenges coming up. Not right now. It's not that they'll never happen again.
Everything's a no, dude.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
No, there's nothing that's coming up right now, but when it does finally happen, ooh boy, is it going to be a good one because we're only doing them about things that are like really fun ones.
Did you
there are a couple things that I can say yeses for. Do you want me to give them some yeses, Dan?
Yeah.
Yes, there is a promo code that you can use right now on the website.
God.
You could save 13% with the promo code Spooky.
Don't worry, guys. I will fire him as soon as this is done.
You can save that code. Save with that code Spooky13, 13% off. You can use that for the model packs that we've been using here today from Studio Grafit and Satine Zillah. You can also use those for some of the courses. We'll also be at Lightbox. There's a sketchbook that Stan showed earlier. We'll have that sketchbook there. It's a good sketchbook. You can talk to Stan a little bit there if he's not busy hanging out at someone's booth or something, checking out Devin L. Kurtz's work or Elisa's work. Yeah, you'll see him there. That'll be booth 807.
Wow.
Yeah. Bam. How you feeling about your drawing now?
This was better. I wasn't overcomplicating it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let us know in the chat. Wait, actually, I'll do. No, if I give them like a thing to vote on for how you're doing, they're all gonna think it's the funniest thing to say it's bad, right?
No, I think most of them are nice.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a poll here, but please don't be sass pantses.
No, please just be honest. I don't care if you think it's worse. Just be honest.
Okay, and then here, I'm trusting you guys with so much power right now.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so far, I'm gonna say good is winning. Good is winning real hard.
Good is winning? What's good?
I just put good, okay, and bad. I said how is
this one?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were going for is it better than the previous one?
Oh, okay. No, we can't. It's too late now.
Oh. This. Okay. Well, yeah. How many people are saying it sucks?
No one said 3% said bad. So that's pretty
those
good.
Are the mean ones.
Them's good numbers.
Kick them out.
I'm gonna end this poll. I think we have a winner.
What's the winner?
Good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. So here in the chat, we have some people saying this one is so beautiful, and then a lot of people calling out my choice to put it as how is it? Good question mark. Okay, and then bad exclamation point.
Oh, you're encouraging them to say bad.
But I mean, it didn't happen. So this is great.
Yeah. Anyway, this was a fast one, and I just went into detail. Like you clearly, it was already the pose after probably what, like 2 minutes. Let me go back to that old one.
Like 3 or 4, you know. But this is good.
So this one had much more anatomy laid in early on, but things just got stiff and a little bit You know what I mean? Like that's the beauty, or that's the value of doing the short ones, is that you just don't have time to get carried away with all that nonsense.
Absolutely.
Right? Like it doesn't matter how advanced you are, experienced you are, you still have that temptation to put all that stuff in that you've studied and you know. Fuck it.
You're gonna do another?
I want to do another one.
Okay, all right, let's do this. What do you?
I'm gonna do this one quick.
With this one.
This is another quick one.
This is you just making a drawing. Okay.
This is me just going real quick, like if I had time. So with this one, I am gonna start with the head, and I see like kind of rectangle shape for the head. Like I don't even care about that. This is that it's 3D. I'm just seeing he's like, nah. You got all this like stuff coming out. You see that? Angle. Boy, oh boy, that is just weird.
All right, everyone's very excited that you're doing another drawing. Just putting that out there.
All right. So there's a little head indication. Those what? How much time do I got left?
In what? In this stream?
In this drawing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't even say how long I'm going to go for. So
yeah, no, this is all up to you.
Yeah. So if I were to do it real quick, I would go all the way to the hips immediately. All right. So from here, got to decide. Gosh, what is up right now? Okay, here's what I'm noticing right now. So there's like this battle in my mind of exaggerating this hip to go forward and keeping this vertical, but for some reason this is just not aligning. This feels too wide from here. I think maybe I'm just pulling the center line from too far over. So there you go. Okay. Let's bring that in. And then the other side.
John, I think
over to the other side.
John answered a question here in chat because I super did not.
What?
Someone asked who is this other person, and they put Steven Prokopenko, and some people asked Stan's brother. No.
What?
I think did John
Steven Prokopenko.
I think this is a John thing because I super did not do this. I was in the middle of a person coming into the office to ask me a question.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, and now John's in here saying yes, you did, Steven. Thanks, John. John was the person who was answering you guys' question in the chat after we had the first power outage, and so every computer here in office was dead. So thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Okay. Would you normally be working from a reference at this kind of scale, like to the side of your actual drawing? Or is this something that you normally look up at on a screen or something different?
Oh, no, it's up on the big screen. I prefer it. I don't prefer it left. I don't know, maybe because I'm just used to, from life drawing, always looking up at my reference. That's just from, freaking 15, 20 years of life drawing that just like my neck wants to do that instead of like turning. It's just weird. So no, this is purely because we couldn't get the stream to work for you guys to be able to put an overlay of the photo. Freaking StreamYard sold their company for $250 million, but they can't do overlays. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. It was great. We've gotten this question a few times in here. People are asking if we're going to do more streams like this in the future.
Yeah. Can you believe it? This is the first time that I've done a Quicksketch live stream.
Do you guys want to see more of this? If you do, make it known in the chat. You guys have done a great job of coming back, by the way, after the other stream went down. You guys are...
How many people are in here now?
They had around 500 people last time I was looking. And last time we had 700 when it died. Streams usually don't recover after it goes off. So that was really good.
Nice. Well, I've exaggerated a bunch of stuff here. Broke a bunch of anatomy. That if I were to make this into a longer drawing, I'd have to come in and like fix some stuff. But I don't know. It's all right. I should have not chosen to do another one.
This is the classic like gambling paradox, right?
Yeah.
I do like the way that you've got the hand coming in here. The quick indication of that right hand. Well, I guess camera right.
Is right? Camera right?
Like our right, yeah. Like the quick indication there.
This shoulder. The thing that really bothers me is this shoulder just like pulled out. Like that's horrible.
In case anyone were asking, they're going to ask that question. What was that eraser?
It's a kneaded eraser. You could stretch it, and you knead the charcoal out. So then you get the white part inside, and then it's clean, and then you erase it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're just going to make this one messy.
Like Lionel?
Yeah. You talking about the soccer player?
Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna make this
the soccer player. Every time we say messy anything in the YouTube videos, someone goes through like, oh, I thought it was messy.
There you go.
It never ends.
Go. It's not a goal. The soccer ball's right there.
Yeah, no. He's just standing. He's just standing inside the goal.
He's standing in the goal. It is a goal. Oh God. Yeah, no, this is horrible, guys. This is bad. We're gonna crop this one out.
Yeah.
Of the video.
For anyone who was asking, there was a question early on in the stream where someone asked, "Do you consider yourself a master?"
No.
Master, like art mastery is, again, it's not a destination. It's not a place that you arrive at and then are just suddenly able to do. You're always going to have problems that come up. You're going to have drawings that are better than others. It happens no matter what.
Trying to figure out what the hell I did wrong. So if I just construct it. Sorry, Steven, I know you're hungry, but I don't care.
Oh no, I'm okay. I had snacks earlier that Kimberly bought for the office, so I'm good. This is someone here asking about the black magic of the kneaded eraser. They totally know what a kneaded eraser is, and they're being sarcastic. But honestly, when you first see a kneaded eraser for the first time, it does kind of seem like some magic.
What's the black magic of the kneaded eraser?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like putty or whatever you want to. This one's getting dry.
Yeah, that one's old. That's old.
You
That's
see how
super old.
A little earlier.
Yeah.
Well, it does. It dries up when you get more charcoal in it as well. But yeah, also just being old.
Yeah.
But if I clean it enough, it might bring some life back into it. Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah,
this is
a little bit
totally
better.
usable.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's great. So what is your goal here?
I don't know, man. I'm just studying this pose. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing.
Okay. Let's do like true.
I mean, this is what what I recommend people do in real life. Is like you have a hard time with a pose, you go in there and you study it. Try to figure it out.
Kate Killer here is saying it's okay, Stan. We know you're good anyways.
Well, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not trying to impress anyone.
I guess, I'm going to go back through here and answer a couple of these questions, ask their questions to you. So Ugwe asking, do you have any pen display recommendations under $200? That's a really hard one. If that's your price point, it might just be that you should like look for something that's maybe not like a display for this one, because you're going to end up with a lower resolution display that's going to negatively impact your digital art. This person, developer Paul 123, they asked, what should one think about when doing gestures to actively improve? I find sometimes it's easy to just get lost in the process.
Lost in the process, huh? Maybe that, well, if you're just lost in the process, maybe you're not being, what's that word? You're not like being as deliberate about it as you should be. Like every time you sit down, you should have a goal for what you're trying to do. Whether it's just practice more, exaggeration of the gesture of the pose, or you're like, okay, every time I add structure, it just makes it stiff. Okay, let's try that. Let's add structure and try to make it not stiff. And you keep doing it. You keep trying to improve it. And if you mess up a pose, you do it again. This is what, the third time I do it? No, this is the second time I'm doing this pose.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I messed it up. I was like, man, I totally just broke all the anatomy. So let's figure it out. Let's keep the anatomy a little bit more designed and more controlled, right? I'm thinking about everything a little bit better while I'm trying to push the gesture. So I'm trying to not make that failure be the thing I learned about that pose. I want to succeed at it as much as I can succeed at that pose.
I think one of the things that you've talked about a lot on Draftsman is that even if you can be doing a million quick sketches, a million drawings, But if you're not looking at those things and really evaluating what you've done and having intentional practice with making those million drawings, it doesn't mean anything.
Yep. Yeah. Intent, deliberate practice is the key. I think I made a video once called Deliberate Practice or something like that. It's really old at this point. I don't even know if it's still relevant, but maybe it is.
I mean, the idea of deliberate practice is always important.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead
know
and...
what I said.
Do you not want me to share
this? Am I
this
doing
video?
the same thing again?
With the shoulder?
Yeah. I'm pushing it out too far.
I think this is definitely more restrained, especially with the rounded edge that you've got.
Yeah. Trying to think of this all as like a shoulder pad.
I think
pecs.
It also doesn't help that there's that hard shadow on the side of this with that dude, like the way that his shoulders developed on his like our right camera right shoulder.
Yeah.
So it sticks out like a box in a way that isn't so common. So it kind of throws you a little bit. Huh. We have a good person here, Hong Lin, asking, is it bad to hold the pencil like I do when I write?
It's not bad. A lot of people learn that way. But you just won't be able to use the side. You can't use as many parts of the pencil as if you use the tripod grip, or sorry, overhand grip. Because with this grip, I can use the tip. Using the side is really hard. I can't do it. With this grip, I can use the tip. I can use the side with the length and get a nice, really crisp line like that. I can use the side this way, or I can transition from one to the other and get really nice variation in my lines. You cannot do this. You can't get that line with the tip of the pencil holding it like this. So you just get more variety. And you're prepping yourself for learning how to paint. All right. I think we'll end it here. My stomach is starting to grow. Gotta eat.
Understandable.
Gotta eat.
Wait, were you doing that Rally's commercial? Like the 2000s just now?
Well, really? Was it?
Yeah, there's like a Rally's commercial where they had a whole song that was like, you gotta eat.
No, I don't think I'm doing that.
Okay. Man. All right. So is there anything that you want to leave people with before we sign off here?
Spooky 13.
Now you want to have the code, huh?
You're the jerk, not me. I pay him to be the jerk, so I don't have to.
Yeah, that's what I got to do here. Yeah. So the whole thing that brought us here is the idea of this coupon code and like Halloween spooky season. So there's a coupon code here for 13% off, Spooky 13. You can use it on pretty much everything on the Proko website. Go buy some of these reference packs that we've got. I promise they're higher resolution than this printout from our bad printer. There's some great references in there. There's some good courses that you guys can get. If for those of you guys who don't have anything to spend on a course right now, there's a brand new free lesson from our course, Marvel's the Art of Storytelling, on inking in a classical way. That's a really good one. He's a good instructor. For you, Stan, is there any particular course that you want to talk about of yours that you think that they should
yeah, so I guess they all depend on the viewer's level of expertise. I'm currently working on the Drawing Basics course. We launch something every week, sometimes 2 episodes a week. So that's the stuff that's like active, right? You can participate and you can be in the critique videos, all that stuff. So that's for beginner people or for intermediate people who want to tune up their fundamentals, their skills. Because I do have 2 levels of projects for every lesson in there. for people who are just fresh and for people who already have some experience. I just want to do a project that is challenging them a little bit, but still working on that fundamental concept. If you are, already familiar with all that and you don't want to just study the fundamentals, then you can go to figure drawing, and that's going to be more along like this kind of stuff where you're learning gesture, structure, mannequinization, balance, exaggeration, and if you want to get real advanced, you're ready to, then you're going anatomy, right? Not real advanced. I mean, if you're comfortable with all those fundamental like figure drawing things that I just listed off, and you want to start getting a little more fancy pantsy with like understanding what I just did here, right? Like you won't learn this in the figure course. All these little indications I put in, that's anatomy. Like understanding what all of these angles mean, that's anatomy. So once you're ready for that, it can make your drawings way better. But you got to be ready for it, though. You don't start with that, because this, without the underlying principles underneath it, they just look bad. Like all those anatomical details just make your drawing look worse.
All right. The one last thing that I think I should probably mention is that there is also a 100% free ebook from a recent video that we did. I went ahead and dropped that in the chat here for you guys. Totally free. You just have to have just go to Proko, try to click on that link, see what happens, and then you get yourself a free ebook.
Oh no!
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and get this off of here. Let's get this drawing out of here. So it's just you and me. So now,
if they only saw the stroke I just made on that,
it was the best one.
The jaw, man, it just totally finished off this whole drawing.
Okay, here.
No, don't show them. Too much hype.
But yeah, go head on over to Proko.com. Get yourself some art education. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for doing the stream, Stan.
Oh, actually, it is pretty good. Go back to that drawing.
Let's get this one back in there. I gotta get it big there. Oh no, there we go. Oh, you feel like the jaw really did it?
Yeah, I'm just happy with the sequence of lines I put in here.
That is good for hit, like the way that, like if you saw this without the reference, you'd be like, that's a pretty crazy exaggeration. But no, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, no, it totally looks really weird and monstery. But like, dude, look at that. I don't know if you could see how his whole neck, when he's doing that, it's as thick as his head. It's just really weird. But yeah, anyway, thanks guys for watching.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
No power outage this time.